Welcome to this video, Building Foundational Clauses. A policy that says we will be secure is meaningless. A policy that says all access will be reviewed quarterly by the asset owner is enforceable. The difference is in the details. In this video, we'll convert identified risks into specific policy statements, apply purpose and scope best practices, map policy clauses to ISO Annex A controls. By the end of this video, you'll be able to convert risks into specific policy statements, apply purpose and scope documentation standards, map policy clauses to ISO Annex A controls. Now we get to the heart of policy drafting, translating risk into clear, concise, and auditable management directives. Converting risk into policy statements. Effective policy clauses come directly from identified risks, translate significant risks into clear, enforceable policy statements that mandate mitigation. For example, a risk of unauthorized data disclosure from stolen unencrypted laptops becomes a policy requiring full disk encryption and forbidding local storage of sensitive data. This direct link provides a defensible rationale and shows auditors a mature, risk-based governance approach by pointing to specific risks addressed by each policy. Purpose and scope. Best practice. For clarity and enforceability, start policies with purpose and scope sections. The purpose explains why the policy exists and its goals. The scope defines who and what it applies to, whether all employees or specific departments, all systems, or certain data types. Clear definitions reduce confusion, ensure consistent application, and ease auditing, setting a strong foundation for the policy's success. Mapping to ISO Annex A controls. A high-level policy sets management direction but must link to actionable controls for ISO/IEC 27001 compliance. For example, a policy on least privilege access maps to Annex A controls like A.5.15 access control, A.5.18 privileged rights, and a .8.2 segregation of duties. This mapping connects policy intent to controls, providing a clear, auditable trail for implementers and auditors.
Let's use Google Gemini to populate a best practice policy clause template, ensuring it has all the essential components for clarity and enforceability. My initial prompt here is to create a template for a formal policy clause. It should be including the sections for policy statement, purpose, scope, and map ISO 27001-2022 controls. And this is just a template. It means that when I'm running this kind of projects, a lot of documents, then I need a template that would sometimes have even like a firm paper, right? Some branding and everything. So for example, sometimes I want to develop operation security policy or incident management procedure or business continuity plan, right? And then this kind of document could be helpful for me to just simply serve as a document that is a template when it comes to structure, when it comes to headings, branding, everything, and then take it from there to populate it, right? So first we want to have this kind of template, and then we can populate it for access control policy, for example, right? Okay, and then maybe let's do it like this. So we have included some initial thoughts that we want there. Like, for example, the policy statements should be access information system should be granted based on principles of least privilege and business need to know. Pretty obvious thing. I train everybody of this when I do information security trainings and implementation projects. So this is all I remember, for example, right? And maybe I want to populate it to have all this formal language included. Let's see. And of course, it should work basing on this template. Before we populate, it's good to save actually the template that you like. But then you see all the formatting, all the structure has been now populated with access control policy, right? Again, we're working in this canvas, so it's preferable for Gemini for now to work on a specific document. And then for the map control section, leads the following controls. 515, access controls, and actually, yeah, this is what I prepared. Let's see if 8.2. Okay. So I wanted to a 8.2 privileges management. It's missing here. Okay, it's actually those map controls. It's not that super mandatory section. And then it's actually removing, is just adding what we exactly wanted. We wanted those three, so we have those three, right? So this could be if you have done some merit-based work and you know that those controls are relevant for you. All the other that were generated there are not really what we need. And here it's funny for me is that this policy version is already 1.1, which means that they have edited it to, for example, map those controls differently, right? But the bottom line is that by following the structured template, you ensure every policy you write is not just a statement, but a complete, auditable, and enforceable component of your management system.
Let's do a quick recap of the key learnings covered in this video. In this video, we have learned to transform risks into enforceable policy statements, map policy clauses to ISO Annex A controls, build defensible risk-based governance programs.